$386 in your Siddur.
In your Maxwell.
In your Maxwell Haggadis. Okay, the Shir today is going to begin explaining the Mishnah, the very last Mishnah in Masechta Brachos, which we say in the Haggadah on the night of the Seder, Maisa, not Maisa, sorry, Omer Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Correct. So, just to tell you the background, how I came to this Mishnah, and what in Mitzvah we're going to be doing with the next few Shiurim, and next week, the following week, and maybe even the following week. There is an unbelievable Sikha from the Rebbe that was said, Parsha Shmos Tafshin Beis. There the Rebbe goes through this Mishnah Ba'arichas, and in that Sikha, the Rebbe also discusses Ba'arichas, one of the details here, which just seems to be as a small detail that's not necessarily very relevant for the halacha of the Mishnah, which is Areni Kiben Shivim Shana. And the Rebbe discusses Ba'arichas the significance of the number of Shivim Shana from various different angles, bringing the various details that contribute to the concept of what Shivim Shana represents. And of course, it's also connected to the fact that this year Yud Shvat Tavshin Pei is Shivim Shana of the Rebbe's Nesius. But before we get to the
also?
Possibly, I don't know.
The Rambam was 69, almost 70.
Correct, yeah. The Rebbe brings that in the Sikha as well. Right, one of the hardest, the Rebbe brings that fact also, okay? But before we get into the Sikha, so the Sikha there, and especially in the Ha'aras of the Sikha, the Rebbe brings the different Pirushim that there are in this Mishnah, Apinigla. You learn a Mishnah, it seems to be a very simple Mishnah, we say it every year in the Seder, and the Pshat seems to be Pashit, but it's not Pashit at all. There are many different Pirushim how to learn this Mishnah. So we'll start today, we'll try to get through the 4 different ways how to learn this Mishnah. You know Parhat Leach?
Enough to feel comfortable with it.
Great.
When
Okay.
you're saying it won't be that long.
Zok the Mishnah. Maise, again, Zok the Mishnah. Omer Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Harei Niki ben Shivim Shana. Today I am like 70 years old. V'lo zachisi shetayami yitzis Mitzrayim ba'leilos, and I wasn't zeiche, as we'll see soon, two pshatim what lo zachisi means, that yitzis Mitzrayim should be mentioned at night. Ad shedrasha ben Zayma. Until Ben Zayma came and darshan and brought a source from the Pasuk. Shenemal amantiskos yimtzeschem eretz Mitzrayim kol yemei chayecha. So Ben Zayma darshan yemei chayecha hayamim kol yemei chayecha lahavi aleilos. The added word of kol is coming to include that you say it also at night. The Chachamim argue and say Yemei chayecha ha'olam hazeh. Yemei chayecha comes to say that you say the mitzvah of mentioning Yitzis Mitzrayim is now in Olam hazeh. Kol yemei chayecha, the added word of kol, lahavi l'meis HaMashiach, comes to include that even after Mashiach comes, we continue having the mitzvah to mention the Yitzis Mitzrayim. That's the Mishnah. Now the question is, what is the pshat in this Mishnah? What is the pshat in this Mishnah? So there are 4 different ways how to learn this Mishnah. One pshat, and l'chayra, the first and simplest pshat would be that Ben Zayma and the Chachamim are arguing. And they're arguing on 2 points, that is. First of all, they're arguing about the mitzvah of mentioning Yitzis Mitzrayim Baleilos. Is there a mitzvah to mention Yitzis Mitzrayim Baleilos? Ben Zayma says Koil is Marbe Baleilos. According to Chachamim, Koil is not Marbe Baleilos. So there's no obligation to mention Yitzis Mitzrayim Baleilos. On the other hand, the Chachamim which are marbe that it's even be Meisa Mashiach, so Ben Zayma disagrees with that as well. Ben Zayma holds there's no mitzvah to mention it be Meisa Mashiach because he used that word to teach me that you have to say it Baleilos. So we have a Machlokes, Menakotza, Lakotza, they're arguing on 2 different points. Right? According to Ben Zayma, Baleilos, according to Chachamim, be Meisa Mashiach, and each one of them disagrees with the other's opinion. That's the simple part of this Mishnah.
You have to do it by night.
Correct. The Rambam paskins like Ben Zayma, and not like Chachamim.
And the Chachamim argue?
But again, this is the Pashto pshat of the Mishnah. The Rambam argues, the Rambam paskins like Ben Zayma. The reason why the Rambam paskins like Ben Zayma, and not like the majority opinion of the Chachamim, is a big discussion in Mefarshim, but we're not going to talk about that today. Maybe next week or another week. That's the first and simple pshat in the Mishnah. Now, another pshat in this Mishnah would be that they're not arguing about both of these dinim. They're not arguing about both, about Balei Lois and B'Maisa Mashiach. They're only arguing about one of these details. But over here you could explain it in two ways. Either they're only arguing regarding Leilos. Ben Zayme learns out from Kail that there's a mitzvah to say it Baleilos. Chachamim disagree and say, no, the word Kail is being used for something else, and therefore Kail is, does not include Leilos.
Only by day.
And only by day, correct. They're arguing about Leilos. That's where their argument is, benegate to the halacha b'poil. Regarding Yemaisa Mashiach, Ben Zayma agrees to the Chachamim that you mentioned it, lost of love, Yemaisa Mashiach. Ben Zayma doesn't argue on that. Ben Zayma doesn't have a source in the pasuk from Koil, because he uses it for Balei Lois. So the answer is, Ben Zayma held the fact that lost of love, you chayiv to mention Yitzias Mitzrayim, you don't need a pasuk for that. That you don't need a pasuk for. So Ben Zayma holds you don't need a pasuk for it, and the Chachamim hold you do need a pasuk for it. But as far as the din b'poil, everybody agrees that you're going to have a chiyuv to mention Yitzias Mitzrayim b'Maisa Mashiach. The argument is going to get it to Leilos.
There is a pasuk that when he's going to come, he's going to mention also it's just Mitzrayim, but it's going to be like a small...
We'll get to the Gemara. There's a Gemara that discusses it. We'll see. There's no befedish pasuk that mentions, that says you're going to mention loss of love. I don't think so. Another way how to explain this, if we're going to say that they're only arguing about one of these points here, not about both, so you could say the opposite. That they're only arguing about Yemaisa Mashiach. Right? Everybody... and they're only arguing about Yemaisa Mashiach. Are you going to be chayiv to say it, loss of love, or not? That's what they're arguing about. Fakert, when you get to Leilos, everybody agrees to the din that you chayiv to say Kriya Shema Baleilos, and the only argument between Ben Zayma and the Chachamim is whether you need the extra limud of the word kol to teach me the chiddush that you have to say it Baleilos. But regarding the din, everybody agrees that you're going to say it Baleilos. The chiddush of Ben Zayma was that there's an extra word for that, and you need the extra word to teach me that. Mashenke Chachamim held, no, the fact that you say it Baleilos is a dover aposhet. You don't need a pasuk for that. But regarding Yemaisa Mashiach, that's where the argument was. Chachamim said that you say it Yemaisa Mashiach, and Ben Zayma holds you don't say it Yemaisa Mashiach. Okay, so again, they're only arguing about one point. Like when they get Lacha B'Poil,
The Rambam makes it easier because then it's possible.
The Rambam is still not Pasha. We'll get to the Rambam. We're going to get to the Rambam. Mitzvah Shem. Not tonight. No. Okay. Then you have a fourth pshat in the Mishnah, which is l'chayda, the biggest chiddush. And the Rebbe and the Sikha and the Haaretz bring sources for all of these pirushim. I don't have the Haaretz in front of me, so I can't tell you the names right now, but the Rebbe brings sources for all of these pirushim in the Mishnah. And the fourth pirush in the Mishnah would be that the MS, they're not arguing v'neget, not to Leilos, and not to v'neget to Yemaisa Mashiach. Everybody agrees that there's a mitzvah to say Yitzias Mitzrayim Bal Yoim, and Bal Laila, and B'zman Hazeh, and B'Yemaisa Mashiach. That's not an argument at all. However, there's an argument when you get to the pshat of the pasuk. The argument is this call in the pasuk. What is it coming to be marba? And the machlekes between Ben Zayma and the Chachamim is still going to be on 2 points, because Ben Zayma holds Leilos requires a limit of a pasuk. Chachamim hold it doesn't. Chachamim hold Yemaisa Mashiach requires a limit of a pasuk. Ben Zayma holds it doesn't. So they are arguing on both points, both when they get to Laila and when they get to Yemaisa Mashiach. But when they get to the Din B'Payil, Ben Zayma and Chachamim agree that it's the mitzvah to mention it at night, and the mitzvah to mention it Yemaisa Mashiach. When they get to Maisa B'Payil, there's no argument. Those are the 4 different pirushim in this Mishnah. Clear?
Yeah.
Either they're arguing on both, either they're arguing only on Leilos, or only on Yemaisa Mashiach, or they're arguing on neither, but the whole machlekes is when you get to the requirement of the limud of the pasuk. Does Laila require a limud, or does Yemaisa Mashiach require a limud? Okay. So now, let's go to another point. Let's go back now to the pshat of the words, V'loi zachisi. In the Mishnah he says the term, V'loi zachisi sheteyamer. If you read the Mishnah simply, you would think, what Abba Lazar ben Azariah is saying is, I'm at a point in my life where I'm like 70 years old. I'm so wise, and because it says that he had his hairs turned white, even though he was only 18 years old, and that's the day that he was appointed to be a nasi. And even though I'm on such a level, I wasn't zeicha to be mekayim the mitzvah of saying the Yitzias Mitzrayim at night. That would seem to be the simple pshat of the Mishnah. But that's not the pshat of the Mishnah. When he says, it does not mean to say that he did not fulfill the mitzvah of saying it at night. He did a mitzvah. He said it at night. What's the pshat for Zachisi? So there are two pirushim of this. The Rambam in Pirush HaMishnah says, Zachisi means that I wasn't zeiche. Lashon of the Rambam is that I wasn't zeiche lo das haremes b'kra, to know and find where is the source in the pasuk for this mitzvah that you have to do at night. The fact that there is a mitzvah to do it at night, that he knew, that was pasha to him, but he wasn't zeiche to find where is the remes in the pasuk. It's the Rambam's pshat. The Bar Tanura says that the pshat of lo zechisi means that there was an argument. You had an argument with the Chachamim or whoever you had an argument with, and lo zechisi means I wasn't zeicha, I wasn't menatzeach, lo nitzachti. I wasn't able to defeat the ones that disagreed with me and said that there isn't a mitzvah to mention it balayla.
Also, Shetei Omer means
The
that
word
it should be
Shetei
said.
Omer,
It
yeah.
should be said
Doesn't
by
say-
others. It
Doesn't
should be
refer
said
to
by
himself. He definitely did it.
Zachasi Loimar. It should-
Right, correct. That's a diak that Mefarshim bring up. Good.
Since
Yes.
it sounded Rashi doesn't even say anything.
No. Not as far as I remember, right? But
Actually,
Rashi is
I
not
think that's
touched the
when
word.
that, like,
V'loi
what,
zachisi.
Shetei
Rashi
Omer.
touches v'loi zachisi.
No,
Shetei
it doesn't
Omer.
touch your word. It doesn't say
Shetei
a word.
Omer.
Shetei Omer Rashi touches?
I
Possibly,
think
I
so.
don't remember. But v'loi zachisi, Rashi does not touch.
Don't go.
Where?
You'll get
Where?
there
In
as you want.
Brachas, where? Over there? No?
I don't
Where?
think
Yeah,
Rashi.
yeah, but right here, Brachas Yud Beis.
It doesn't bring
Oh, you have it in front of you? Does Rashi say anything on Shetei Omer?
You'd pay.
This is the end.
Yeah,
Okay. HaKolpanin, so you have two pirushim in what v'loi zachisi means. Does it mean
The Mishnah's at the end of Brachas?
at the end of the first Perek of Brachas? So either v'loi zachisi means I didn't find the remez in the pasuk, or v'loi zachisi I wasn't menatzeach those that argue with me. Okay? So now,
And
if you-
therefore they're not doing it still. Therefore they're not
the
doing
others
it.
that disagreed with
Chacham.
them, correct? So now you can obviously understand that these two pirushim in v'loi zachisi will be connected to the different pirushim that we said in the Mishnah. If we're going to say that they're actually arguing whether you're chayiv to say Yitzias Mitzrayim balayla or not, which was the first pshat I said, and the third pshat that I said, that they're arguing about the dim b'poyel b'negeh talayla, so then v'loi zechisi means that there was an argument, and v'loi zechisi means I wasn't menatzeach, I didn't defeat the other opinion. But if everybody agrees that it has to be said by night, the only argument is whether you learn it from a pasuk or it's understood misvara. You don't need a pasuk. V'loi zechisi doesn't mean that he wasn't menatzeach them in the argument. V'loi zechisi means that he didn't find the remez in the pasuk. He didn't see the source for it in the pasuk because Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah held it's not a davar pashut that has to be said at night. You have to have a source in the pasuk. And he's saying I didn't see the source for it in the pasuk. That would be the pshat of v'loi zechisi. Yeah.
He brings down the two pshatim, but it's not Rashi. Over
The
here.
Rebbe in the Aragada brings down both pshatim. Baruch
Yeah, yeah.
Hashem, we have the Rebbe in the Aragada already that brings it down.
Okay. Left now I'm waiting the Rebbe in the art scroll yet.
Okay, very good. I'm asking, you have my opinion.
One Rebbe will pick up his eyelashes and go.
Right. Okay, so now that we understand the structure of the Mishnah, the four different ways how to learn the Mishnah, let's go back and understand over here. Let's start with Leilos, and then let's go to Mutimais HaMashiach. What is the basis of the argument regarding Leilos? Why should you be mechuyev to mention Yitzias Mitzrayim balayla? Why should you not? Or let's ask the question maybe in a different way according to the other Pirish. Why would you need a special pasuk to be mechadish that you're obligated to say Yitzias Mitzrayim balayla? Why would you not need a special pasuk? Why is there a davar apashut that you mention it balayla without any pasuk? What is this argument based on? So if you look in the Mishnayos, there's chidushi anshe shem. And the Mishnayos, the regular big Mishnayos, there's chidushi anshe shem there. So he brings two pirushim to explain why it would be a davar apashut that it has to be said at night and you don't need a special pasuk. And the reason is, he says, either because Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, it's interesting, even though Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah is saying, I didn't find a remez in a pasuk, but really Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah l'shitasai wouldn't need a remez in a pasuk for the fact that it has to be said at night. Why? This is based on something else that the Gemara says before, Benegeh to Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah's opinion regarding the time to eat the Korban Pesach by the Leil HaSeder. So there's a machlokes, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah and the Chachamim, when you eat the Korban Pesach. Chachamim say that you can eat it until the morning, because the Zman of the Gula was in the morning. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah says that you can eat it only until Chatzos, because by night, by Chatzos, by Makas B'chayris, this is the Zman when the Yidden went out of Mitzrayim. That's when they were released, they were allowed to leave Mitzrayim. Correct. So therefore he says, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah l'shitasai, that says that the main Gula was at night. So just like we see Benegeh at the Korban Pesach, that affects his opinion, that the Korban Pesach is to be eaten dafka at that time, so too when it comes to the mitzvah to mention Yetzias Mitzrayim every day, if you have to mention it by daytime, which is not when the Gula actually happened, the main Gula happened at night, for sure you have to mention it at night. You don't need a special pasuk for that. That's one shot, he says.
So why do you get a special pasuk for it then?
Huh?
Why do you talk
Still, for some interesting, according to, like I said before, according to this pshat, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah himself held you wouldn't need a pasuk. But still, he was saying loy zachisi that it would. You can find a remez. I mean, the lashon of the Rambam is ladas haremez bekra. But really, according to this pshat, you don't even need a source in a pasuk. Another pshat is, and he brings it b'shem the Yerushalmi. I looked in the Yerushalmi. I didn't find it. At least not in the Yerushalmi here in Brachas in the end of the first page, where he says the Yerushalmi says you learn out from the pasuk v'hagisa b'yayim v'layla. That's a pasuk that's not only speaking about learning Torah, but it refers to other mitzvahs that you mechuyev b'dibur, including the mitzvah to mention Yetzias Mitzrayim. That the mitzvah b'dibur to say Yetzias Mitzrayim by day, Yoimam, and Laila are the same. And therefore, you don't need a special pasuk to teach me over here that the mitzvah that you do by day is also by night. When the Torah says the mantisker Yom Tzescha, even if it would not say Kol Yemei Chayecha, if it would just say Yemei Chayecha, I would know that mitzvah includes day and night. I don't need a special pasuk.
Well, Gisa is not regarding learning.
Not only, I'm not saying it's not. It's not only regarding Torah. It includes also other mitzvahs that are bedibur, which is the mitzvah to mention Schiras Yetzias Mitzrayim. Right?
What's the meaning of the word Gisa?
There's also Reizogin. There's also
Yeah.
Lehigot. Yeah.
You just had a last week in Rashi.
Yes, Hashem B'Yisrael.
Correct.
So,
It's a different word. Chayra. Okay. Or maybe it's the words of the heart. What it means to word, the say to say.
Last week's Rashi.
Oh, yeah, give Divrei Shaka, yeah.
So that's
Yes,
what
yes, okay,
like
very
20
good.
proofs.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so we have, and then we have the opinion. Then we have the opinion of Ben Zayma that says no. When the Torah writes Yimei Chayecha, it's only by day, and you do need a special pasuk to say Kol Yimei Chayecha to be mechadish at the mitzvahs even at night. Okay. So now the machlokes, according to this, comes out that beneged to leilos, you can learn in two ways, as we said before. Either they're actually arguing about leilos, do you have to mention it at night or not? Do you have a pasuk for it, and therefore you have to mention it at night, or do you not have a pasuk? Or, as we said, you can say everybody agrees you have to mention it at night. The question is, do you know without the drasha from Kol? Or do you require a special drasha of Kol to teach me this? So now the Rebbe in the Haggadah says a very geschmack chiddush. The Rebbe says in the Haggadah as follows: if you don't learn it out from the special pasuk of Kol, and the pasuk writes the mitzvah l'man tiskar yemei chayecha, and even you don't need the Kol, and you chayev to say it by day and by night. What that would mean is the mitzvah of mentioning Yetzias Mitzrayim by day and by night is one chiyuv. It's really all one chiyuv. The Torah is not writing a special pasuk, a special extra word to be mechadish a new chiyuv for at night. When the Torah tells you the chiyuv b'derech mamela, that includes day and night. Misvara, when the Torah is saying Yemei Chayecha is the 24-hour period which is day and night, and therefore you have to mention it day and night. It's all one chiyuv. But if the Torah writes Kol Yemei Chayecha, and you require the extra word of Kol to be mechadish to do it at night, and without the word Kol, you would say the chiyuv is only by day, and Kol is a new chiddush to do it at night. So then, what that means is it's two separate chiyuvim. There's a chiyuv by day from Yemei Chayecha, And this is a separate chiyuv of kol for by night. It's two separate mitzvahs. Not really two separate mitzvahs. It's really one mitzvah. It's one mitzvah, but it's two separate chiyuvim because it's learned out from a different word.
How would it fit? Eretz Mitzrayim, the Mantis here says, Eretz Mitzrayim, Yemechayecha. It's just, it's not the right.
Biyamechayecha maybe. Whatever, without the kol. The kol is definitely a whole extra word. If it says Yemechayecha, we know it's all your lifetime. It doesn't have to say the word kol.
Eretz Mitzrayim.
The Mantiska is Eretz Mitzrayim.
Biyamecha.
Maybe it has to. I'm not even sure if it has to say Biyamechayecha. Kolpanim, so this is the Rebbe's Hisaf in this Inyan is a one chiyuv, a two chiyuvim, and this is going to be also relevant when we get to the deeper pshat in this Mishnah and the ruchnius of this Mishnah, as we'll see when we get there. But this is the Rebbe's vart if it's one chiyuv or two chiyuvim. This is the machlekes b'negei to leilos, whether you require a special drasha for leilos. Now let's go to the other pshat. They're not arguing about leilos. Everybody agrees b'negei to leilos. That's not the argument, b'chlal. What they're arguing about is Yemaisa Moshiach. And again over here, there's two pirushim. Are they arguing when they get to the din b'poil, whether you have to say Yemaisa Moshiach or not? Or they're arguing regarding the requirement of the drasha. Do you need a drasha to teach me that you say Yemaisa Moshiach? Or is it obvious that you have to say Yemaisa Moshiach? So what would be the basis of that argument? So over here, the Rebbe brings in the Ha'ares, based on what it says in, there's a pirush in the En Yaakov, in the Rashba, and other places that say that the reason why you wouldn't need a pasuk to say that you say B'Maisa Mashiach is very pashut. We know that all the mitzvahs are nitzchias. The mitzvahs that we have today continue even B'Maisa Mashiach. The Torah does not change, and therefore we're not going to uproot any mitzvah. Again, we know there's the famous Gemara of mitzvahs B'Teilis Lasad Lava. It's a different sugi. We're not going to talk about it now. But B'Pashtus, all mitzvahs that exist today will not change, and Lasad Lava will remain. So to say that the mitzvah of mentioning Yitzias Mitzrayim today continues in Maisa Mashiach, you don't need a special pasuk for that. It's going to continue like any other mitzvah that you're obligated today. You're obligated to do it then, Lasad Lava. That would be the pshat in Ben Zayma's opinion. Ben Zayma says the call is going to go for Leilos. Obviously, Lasad Lava, you're going to have to say it. Why not?
So what does it mean that in Moshe Mashiach all the Yom Tov are going to be bottled?
So that's a different case. Okay, beside this. So it doesn't mean kipshuta. It's going to be bottled. It means it's going to be kishragi b'tira. Whatever the pshat is, or there's different tkufas.
That I thought it was about Yitzis Mitzrayim kishragi b'tira because.
Correct. Okay. So
big all of them inside.
Yes,
we need
correct. Okay, we'll get to that in Mitzvah. We'll get to that. Then the other pshat is no. You beferish do need a pasuk to say that you're going to have to mention the loss of lavai, and the reason is because what is the gather of the mitzvah? What's the teichen of the mitzvah to mention Yitzias Mitzrayim? So the Rashba and the En Yaakov says the teichen of the mitzvah is to remember the nisim that the Eibishter does, to know that the Eibishter is the kol yachol and the Eibishter is mashgiach and everything mashgacha pratis, to strengthen your betachin in Hashem, to know the Eibishter is in charge of everything. That's really the idea of the mitzvah of mentioning Yitzias Mitzrayim every single day. It's not necessarily specifically about mentioning those specific nisim. It's about remembering those nisim and that redemption in order for a person to realize the greatness of Hashem and his interaction and everything in the world. Like it says by the Kavanah of Tefillin, right? That the nisim are meirim al yichudu yisbarach and so on. So if so he says, so that there'll be greater nisim and a greater redemption. So then the mitzvah will be to mention the nisim that will be lost at lavai. And that's not going to be uprooting the mitzvah. That is the fulfillment of the mitzvah then. That is what the mitzvah is about. But when you get to the greater miracles that are going to happen Lasad Lavai, it makes no sense to mention the nisim that happened by Yitzias Mitzrayim in order to express the greatness of Hashem and realize the greatness of Hashem if there are much greater miracles that happen. Right? So the Chayre would come out here that the machlekes between Ben Zayma and the Chachamim is, according to Ben Zayma, the mitzvah, the definition of the mitzvah of Schiras Yitzias Mitzrayim is remembering that specific event, remembering those specific miracles, and that's irreplaceable. That loss of love, there will be greater miracles, and it could be Kishaga B'tira, but the gather of the mitzvah is that specific event, and therefore it's pasha that will continue loss of love. Mashenka Chachamim hold no. Those nisim are just the dogma of a person remembering the greatness of Hashem's Hashgacha Pratis in the world. Loss of love, it'll be greater miracles, so it'll be the greater miracles that you'll remember. It's lavdafka those miracles. So therefore, it's a very big chiddush. The Lasad Lavai, you'll still have to remember Yitzias Mitzrayim when you can remember the much greater miracles. That's the Pshat in the Chachamim. Let me just conclude with one more point. Based on what the Rebbe says in the Agada, that whether you do need a special pasuk for Leilos or you don't need a special pasuk for Leilos, the nafkamina will be if it's one chiyuv or two chiyuvim. The same thing would be also regarding mentioning Yitzias Mitzrayim b'Moisei Mashiach. Chachamim that hold that you need a separate pasuk for it, hold that Lasad Lavai, it's a separate chiyuv. It's not the same chiyuv as today. Mashenkin, according to Ben Zaymet, the very same chiyuv we do today, we will have Lasad Lavai. It's not a different chiyuv. Chachamim hold the chiyuv we have today will be fulfilled by mentioning the Geula and the Nisim of Lasad Lavai. The fact that we're going to mention Yitzias Mitzrayim Lasad Lavai, that's a new chiyuv. It's a separate chiyuv. It's not the same chiyuv that we have this Manazeh.